Good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon. Yeah, try to shift up. All right. Hope all is well. Weekend. I hope majority of you who are out here working hard to support your family, both in the diaspora and back home, or helping somebody. Hope you all are doing well, at least taking care of yourself. Important. Health is wealth. Okay. In my Steve Jobs voice, the hospital bed is the most expensive bed in the world. So because of that, please take care of yourself. Please do take care of yourself. Okay. Um, I know if that on my page, it's a different time, but I'm now on my page. I'm on my page, not on my personal page, on my second top page. So again, welcome to our kitchen talk. And I have a lot on my mind today that I would like to talk about this morning. Hopefully you tune in. If not, that is okay. You can watch later. But here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and share. As I share, I will play my theme music, which I do have copyright to this music. Okay. I need everyone to know that I have copyright to this music. So I'm not sure why it's Facebook freezing it. I pay to have it made for me. So, but just as a disclaimer, I'm going to put that here for now. But I have copyrighted this music because I paid for it to be produced purposely for this show. Okay, we might need a new one. But tomorrow, we found out we're supposed to be debuting or commencing, changing our Thursday lineup to Sunday lineup because Emmerich, myself, what do you call it? Peter is the coach. School has opened. Getting on at 8 p.m. in the night is very difficult, which is like 12 or 1 o'clock Liberian time. And we're trying to incorporate everyone. So we chose to be on Sunday. Yes. If you all remember, we were coming on before. I used to come on at 7 o'clock, and Doc and I started doing a show Sunday at 5 p.m. And the only reason we did that was the time that we're available in Liberia for us to be on the air. We keep having some technical problem, time problem, and other problems. So I believe we need to be consistent, and because of consistency, we'll do, on Facebook Live until we can, get back on the air. Yes, I was trying to get my baby in school. We're still working on other station. If that particular one that I've been working on with my aunt does not work out, I have to find a station that will host me a Sunday evening that we are going to talk to the Liberian people and they're going to talk to us. That's the essence of me being here, to build that relationship with our people, to be ready for decision process, not just for elections. Liberian people, I've been around here forever, even before I was involved into supporting or the politics of things, and that's how I've been. So I am not really here because of me, but I'm here more than for me, for the next generation and for all Liberians to support and be there. That said, let's start the show, and I will go ahead and start with our theme song where it says we are.
All over the world, I am a woman. I'm a strong woman. I'm intelligent and wise. A beautiful woman. I am a woman. I'm a strong woman. Like David said, today's woman. The spirit of women is calling, and the voice of unity must answer today's woman. Today's woman.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Yes, the schedule is now, we're going to return to our schedule, as I stated earlier. So we're on time. We can have a conversation with you to know where we are at this point in time. Thank you for those of you who are tuning in. Please share the video. Again, we're just coming back to where we are as we are. Okay, so the way I want to be, of course, still here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to work. Okay, great. We are the voices. I like to talk to where we are in the nation. Again, welcome to the kitchen, and let's have a conversation that is pressing Liberia. I wanted to talk about what are the issues confronting Liberia. I see a lot of survey going on. They say survey is literally a popularity contest. It's not a survey going on. And what I gather as a woman, as an informed woman, as a well-traveled woman, as an educator, okay, as an intelligent woman, as a bold woman, I see that we who can read and write, majority of the time, we are the one that misleading our people. And the reason being, it benefits us. And our people think comfort brings change, and comfort does not bring change. Any nation that we know, that I know, that I've studied so far, that have changed, that nation took a bold step. That nation made itself uncomfortable. That nation decided, Uncle Pete, welcome, Sis Rebecca, welcome. Okay. That nation has some sort of standard of morality, okay, or tapestry too. I'm sorry, my tongue is still stuck this morning. Okay. And that nation were willing to roll up its sleeves and to use sweat and blood to get their nation to where they need to be. I was asking myself, okay, yesterday or the whole week, I have watched Liberians on social media attack each other, men and women, political party, new and old, going at each other, and some people just being antagonistic for no reason. Listen, I particularly, I'm not easily moved. Those of you know me. I'm a committed person. All right. It does not mean that I don't know who I am. It means I know exactly who I am. I know what it takes. Okay. I know how nations are built because I study how nations are built. Okay. I also studied philosophy of people who are held nation captive, or we call them conquerors. Okay. Men who get to the top. And when I say men, it's not in the turn of gospel, because when they say let's make men into our own image, God was not just talking about the gender, he was talking about humanity as a whole. So when I speak in terms of humanity. Okay, listen, I'm not easily impressed. I'm not. I fight for the things that I believe in, not what someone else believes in. Okay. And I also study people. Why I understand that leadership, okay, is transactional, transitional, and transformational. I first have to understand the core value of those that I'm supporting. Okay. And let me go back to all of us here. Y'all please share the video for me. Okay. Then let me go back to all of us in this country, in the United States, that give me an opportunity. That is my second home. This country ran on what we called bootleggers or the spoil system. The spoil system or patronage system, political machines. Most of you who live in the United States, make it your business to understand why in the early 1920s, America was bankrupt and have to borrow money from individuals, family. You have to understand, how did it become so powerful? during the World War, when they literally, okay, had just gotten the independence in 1776. Is that? Yes, 1776, July 4th. Okay. 1732, the last colony was funded. Okay. 1732, the last charter was just established, which was Georgia. Okay. So between that to 1776, you think about it, that was less than 60 years. How did they build the country? How did they build Georgia? How did they bring 13 people who were hungry? Okay, 13 people who were looking for a place to begin. Okay, or 13 nations. What kind of people did they bring in at first to create the nation that they created? What kind of character? What sorts of men? What sorts of women did they? What was their idea? What did they build? What was the ideology that built? You have to think. We all go to school. You know, when I was younger, I think this is elementary school. Boys go to school, girls to go to school, boys and girls go to school. It was conditioning to understand it was not only boys that went to school. This is Liberia. That girls needed to go to school. Hey, son. Hey, Mo. Okay. Boys go to school, girls go to school. Now let me explain to Liberian people where we are. The psychological of things. Okay. How do you do a survey that is not issue driven, but our children are dying in the street by the dozen? Every day, 1 or 2 dies. Okay. Or on their life. You're doing a survey. It does not matter to you those issues. What are the issues confronting Liberia? Okay. Let me tell you about what issues confronting Liberia. You know why the children are drug up? Unemployment. 60% of Liberian youth, in fact, not 60%, over 60% of Liberian population are under the age of 25. 25, 60%, about 60% under the age of 25. So if 60% of your population, 90% are unemployed, okay, you have issues. Now, the second thing that is ruling, drug addiction. You don't see any problem with it. You're not mentioning it. You myself who know better. Some of you grounded in the country, see the in and out of the country, educated, travel. Even if you're not travel, you read about other nations. You understand the issue that is facing Liberia, but you don't want to talk about that because it's not comfortable. Because some of you get paid to do what you do. You know, I watched Kwame this morning, Opa Kwame this morning, intervene a former journalist, Mr. Lobo, who is sick. I think he has Alzheimer's. He can't remember. Who worked for LBS for years. And he's literally declining. And he gets no help. But the Liberian lawmakers make laws. They make laws. Eleanor, I'm live. Let me call you back, ma. Let me call you back. I'm live. Okay. They make laws to get retirement. The president get retirement, get security. The vice president get retirement, get security. The legislature get retirement, get security. The judges get retirement, get and what do you call it? Get security, whatever. They get all of those. You who hire them to work for you, okay? You don't have health care. They don't create jobs. There is no security, okay? But we are doing survey because it is uncomfortable to talk about these things. It does not motivate people to vote. It makes people think. And so long you are not thinking, people will continue to think for you. I'm in the kitchen this morning. Folks, I got food on my table. See right here? This is organic. All right. I'm going to move the background so I'm able to show you what I have. I didn't know that my background was still on. So I'm going to go ahead and move the background on my stuff here. Okay. I'm going to make the background. Okay. Where is my background? I'm going to remove the, yep. There we go. So I have removed my green screen. Here we are. See right here? This is cassava leaf. This is fresh cassava leaf, organic. Whatever you can grow in Liberia, I can grow it. Whatever you can grow, my clothes washing, my laundry machine is old. Fresh cassava leaf. You know what I'm going to do with this? I'm going to put it in my freezer. I will package it. You know, somebody will say, why? People can say you will be talking and via of we're having kitchen talk. We're talking about food. Food. Okay. I will package this. Okay. It will last me until the next harvest cycle. Okay. Now that when I was growing up in Nimba, our people then, from hard labor, they make the farm. And they are left to the mercy, okay, of Mother Nature, how it responds to them to be able to survive. If harvest is poor, if there is drought, that means we are hungry, okay? That means we are hungry. I know what it's like to be hungry. That's why I continue to speak. I know what it's like when harvest is poor. When I was growing up, our people will look up to the Putu Mountain. Depending on what comes out of the Putu Mountain, doing planning, okay? Doing the planning, you know harvest was going to be good or we're going to be bad. Most of you don't know this. Most of you are young. I can tell you, my son Steve does not know about this, okay? That's how we depend. You know what took the Israelites to Egypt and they stayed and became a slave? Hunger, famine, in Canaan. That's how they migrated. Famine. All right? Hunger can change a man's status. Hunger can make a man move and can be enslaved. Hunger. So your Liberia, your power believing people. So we're visit that. I want you to understand that. Folks, please share. I'm here and I'm leaving exactly at 2 o'clock because Steve then are coming on too. Okay. We'll go back to our 11 o'clock time so we can have time so I can have guests here. I like to have guests here so we can have this conversation, this following conversation. Thank you, Emmanuel. Okay. Now, we are not talking about our young people. Like I have one of the young people in Rwanda who I think has graduated or coming to graduate and is dragging going back to Liberia because you don't see possibility. You don't see hope. You don't see jobs. Okay. But looking for a way to leave Kigali, to go to another country, to be able to survive, to be able to dream dreams. But no, you are doing survey. If you're writing survey, you are an intelligent person, okay? But you are not confronting the issue that Liberia is facing, okay? We talk about youth unemployment. That's the first thing I talk about. That is the high on the list of, you know why that is high? The reason I'm not chasing politicians in America is I have a job. I had an opportunity. I worked the Democratic team. I had an opportunity to meet president. I've also had opportunity not to meet Democratic candidates or president, but to also meet Republican president because I don't vote based on political party. I vote based on ideology and values, okay? I had 6 months. Toma Atumana will tell you on this platform where Trump people in the last election, 2020, literally contacted me and were on the phone for months. I had an opportunity to be invited to the White House. to sit down with Donald Trump and talk and be another candidate over. I'm not easily impressed. When I hear people calling me about why you're not this, why you're not that, no, I don't switch easily. And if those of you who know me, I don't get into a pasty fight with people, especially those that I love. If you have a history of attacking people for no reason, because you support people or because you don't support people, that is your MO. That's not my MO. I'm the kind of person I like to nurture and keep my relationship, especially the way we are. But we are not talking about the issue. Okay? We are not talking about the issue. Drug addictions. Why do you think our young people are drug up? We say the adult man, okay, it's a devil's playground. Where does a man have to wake up to every morning? If at all you sleep well, number one, you sleep in mosquito infested place. You know, I hear the labor were talking, what say they have to move. The father work. But the father could not afford to build a house. Most Liberians working cannot afford to build houses. But guess what? Top government officials are able to build houses. In fact, build complexes. Like plenty of your officials doing Ebola, they build complexes for their staff. On other assumed needs, some of them we know they are. Like for instance, the one that was threatening people where you went back and re-elected. What's his name? Nukwe. Nukwe got houses, got stores, got apartment complexes. Okay? Plenty of your people, from those who work from the tax commission, to those to the GSA, to your lawmakers, to your presidents, and then the children come back and claim it. But you are running up and down for them. I'm in my kitchen. You know, a lady was talking yesterday about why most diaspora don't want to go home. And a Liberian gentleman said some people have been in America so long they are not built a house. What's sad is, especially this Liberian group of Liberian, we are the most educated, most well-rounded Liberian in the world. You know what? I can take $20,000, take my mortgage and my bill for a month or so, go to Liberia, stay there, tell my husband to send me money. I can build at least a 3-bedroom house in 3 months. Go back and finish it. But it's a choice that I've made, a conscious choice for me. Some of us at home in Liberia that we might never live in. I have to consider the environmental effect. And somebody will say, so who will fix it for you? All of us. You know how we fix it? First thing that we do is we start. We start. You know how we start? We start by electing people who have character in their head or in their shoulders. You know why America went to war? Labor, money, unemployment. You know why there's a divide right now in America? The same thing. They're taking our jobs. They're taking our jobs. And that's just in human nature. What are the issues that we need to be discussing in Liberia? Let's look at this. Corruption and weak governance. The government have no direction. People want me to jump up and down and praise. What am I praising? You get up in the morning and say, let's go build bridge. You get up in the morning and say, let's go build a town hall. You get up in the morning, let's go build government mansion. How does that impact the everyday Liberian? Those are the issues that we need to be talking about. How does that change the everyday Liberian? How does that impact the 300,000+ young Liberians who are discouraged, are hopeless, and strung up on drugs? How does that change their lives? That's what we need to be talking about. Folks, if I were on my page, I would have hundreds of people watching, but I'm not on my personal page. I choose to be on this page, okay, because that's where I'm going to be working for. Daily, I can do all the daily tasks, and I don't mind. We will build it up. This is not my original page. My page will taken down. It will have, they keep reporting it down. When you report, Facebook called me and asked me if that's me, and they sent me a code, and I log in and said, we'll undo your, the last time you reported me, I think I don't get back on here until, what do you call it, when the first of the month. So I'm cool with that. I'm totally cool with that. Okay. Now, how does that impact you? You got young people all around the world. We keep sending people on scholarship. Okay. Listen, it's good to learn about other countries. As an educator in America, when I teach children, everything that we teach, even when we teach about world history, we bring it home to America. Every country that we studied, we bring it home to America. We compare their relationship, what makes the difference, who they are, our democracy, the structure of our democracy. I said our because I'm a U.S. citizen. I love this country. It's the country that gave me a second chance when my own people were looking to tabe me, SA me, end me, end my life. They gave me home as a young woman, born my children here. Okay. And call home is where the heart is. Those in this country, except for the Indian, they're from different country. The last group that settled here, okay, in this, that built this Georgia that I live, okay, you know where they came from? They came from, what do you call it? Ireland, okay? They came from England. They came from Hungary. Some of them were being prosecuted for religious reasons. The Jews came from the other side of Germany. Those who came from England came because they were being prosecuted. They were poor. They even had society members who have borrowed money and could not survive. In fact, Augustus, who established, who is called the father of Georgia, okay, Augustus, James Augustus, okay, his reason for going to the king to ask to start a charter was because his friend had been thrown in jail. These are members of high society because he owned a debt. So everything Liberia is going through, other countries have been. But we don't have to experience those steps because we have schematics. We have history that we can skip those. It's like you telling your children, listen, I have not smoked before, never tried, never growing up. It was a stigma anyway. So I am by nature hyper. I don't need liquor to be active. I don't need to smoke to calm down. Okay. I am overly hyper. I'm an old woman with lots and lots of energy. I've always had. What I need to calm is to read. If I read, I calm down. Folks, share the video. Now, you are going in circle and not addressing the issue because you don't want to make yourself uncomfortable. Listen, I am not up for purchase or for buy. I don't care where you have. Okay? Ask Alexander Cummings. I don't. Those of you who have dealt with me at the community level, when I was president in a community, you know why people did not like me? Because I was too straight. I didn't understand the politics. I have men who knew I was married, who knew my husband, who sat with him, who been to my house, trying to talk to me. I got one time, one of our friends said, oh, the person giving you a hard time, just, how you call it, and you can do this. My honor, okay, it's not just in my character, it's also between my leg. What between my leg? I'm not being vocal, viewer discretion is advised. It's between me and my husband. That's me. That's how I see myself. Seeing me in bikini on the beach is different than being my spirit mixing with your spirit, because I just don't take that lightly. I see that my spirit mixing up with your spirit. And it's something that you can't shake up as a female. No disrespect to people who like being around. No disrespect to them. We call it in the morning, their body comes. That's their choice. This is my choice. I'm not disrespecting anybody. That's my value. Okay? That is my value. And I'm speaking to my particular value. Okay? In my community. And there was hell. That when I support people will show up on Sunday, once a month, and literally just a step. We had an opportunity to get grants. We had an opportunity to have our own center that we own. But no. People wanted, if somebody gave me $1 to divide with pastor, I have pastors, powerful pastor, packing their members. We Liberia, most people, we don't stand for anything. We pack their members on Sunday to show up, to sabotage, but they will not pay the dues. Voting time, they come in droves and hijack the vote. Even if somebody did not qualify, for instance, we're trying to get a board member. People didn't qualify. They pack their people, their pastor, their churches, the king. In fact, one of those meetings, Ava were there, Kiatama were there, my brother was there. Dr. Emmanuel Dolo. It was embarrassing, folks. Very embarrassing. That's who we are as a nation. Okay? We don't thrive to bring change. We try to have our opportunity, our chance. So the fight here is not about changing Liberia. If it is about changing Liberia, our survey will read differently. Our survey will be about the issue. Our survey will be about what is confronting Liberia. That's what it would be. But that's not what it is. So I said that was the third thing, the third highest thing that confronting Liberia. Corruption, weak governance. It goes to the leadership. It goes to the leadership. The fourth one, agriculture, food security. Liberia imports 70% of its staple foods. 70%. We import it. We beg for it. Japan gave us food because we refuse to build capacity. I told you guys from the onset, I've been on both sides of the aisle. I've been on both sides of the railroad. I've been on the poor side. I've been on the middle class side. Okay. And I've been blessed. We have transitioned. So I can relate. Okay. Up interior, we will be considered permanent family. We are permanent family. My grandfather, great-grandfather, owned the town I'm from. Is named after my great-grandfather, per se. And that's the fact. Okay. But we live off the land. That means we have to make team, what is called coup. At the beginning of the year, if the children were out schooling, they were in Monrovia, they were in Yakipa, they have to return home to manually work the land. And if at the end of the term, if we don't get enough rain, or if we have pests, like the flies, like the butterflies, okay, like I said, and anybody who knows this, if you are a Liberian who grew up during this time up interior, you will know our people, just like my grandfather knew what time of the month it was, what time it is in a day, that he could tell you when it's 12 o'clock, when it's 1 o'clock, just based on the position of the sun, okay? It's this Lati, okay? Here it is. They will watch for sign. The sun will come from the Putu Mountains. Depending on what's coming from the Putu Mountain that year, they can predict to you if harvest will be good, if harvest will be bad. Those are facts based on historical. I know that as anybody who was planting in those days in Liberia. Okay. If harvest were going to be bad and what you harvest were not enough to feed you through the rainy season, people would die from starvation. Parents will have to go in the bushes where they have made farms, okay? That the farms are depleted, but you have some old cassava, looking for old cassava to survive off it. If not, you will be at the mercy of God. Whereas The so-called leadership of Liberia was sending their children to Harvard. Okay? Thank you, sis. Okay? Was sending that, yes, there were Liberians going to Harvard those days. They were coming to America to go to school. They were Liberians, not based on their own merits, sending their children for vacation to Las Palmas, to the United States, and they will come home. Some of them will start acting, especially like wherever they were. That's the Liberia that we have built and continue to build. And we refuse, especially those who are struggling, think when they kiss up, think if they succumb, the door will open, slide it, they will slide in and it will become that. For instance, let's look at Jeremiah Kun. And I'm going to talk this. Jeremiah Kun. Jeremiah Kun is a nephew of Nima Kante. And Jeremiah Kun cannot preach to me about Nimba tradition. I am a Nimba tradition. And I understand it. And my parents was old. In fact, my great uncle was the first senior senator of Nima Kante when Nima Kante became a candidate, okay, from the Providence. The years before them, when Dunbar was superintendent in Nimba, who there was no road, with make Nimbadians tow cars on their head. The first car that came to Liberia were told to get into Nimba. Those are facts. Okay? Yes. Jeremiah Kun is the nephew. I don't care about Koga. I don't like his politics, the way he thinks women should be subordinate to men. That he thinks women. I live in a country where women have ran to be presidents. I live in a country where women are lawmakers in the droves. I live in a country where women have led the charge on voting rights. I live in a country where women are scientists, they are astronauts, they're marine biologists, they're engineers, they're innovators. The GPS that you're using, a woman, a Black woman invented it. Okay? To go to the moon, Black women, physicists did that. But you look at a woman. But then too, you don't believe him. When my own little sister, who is the superintendent, said gender issue was not a big deal. Tribal issue is more important, more paramount than gender issue. So he has support, and his students supported women who are supposed to be women who should stand up, supported him. So who am I to say? But that is my voice. That is my stand. I don't think anyone is more intelligent than anyone. I think the same God that created us, we have the ability to do anything that we can. Okay? My doctor, my gynecologist is a woman. For the last 30 plus years, deliver all my children. All my children. Okay? Now you tell me that. But let me come back to this. For Jeremiah Kun to think he owns Nima Kante, okay? A nephew. It tells your Nima people, you ain't got boss. There are no men and no women in Nimba. You ain't got no boss. You people are a bunch of followers. So maybe the only men that were in Nima Kante after joining Voka and Dan Bowen, okay, the Toa Zama, okay, and the Dan, okay, there are no men in Nimba. The crew man, the man or woman's son, will challenge a Gio man, born and raised, mother born is raised, father will put tire on and burn for standing up for Nimba, will challenge him because you'll get few $dollars to eat. You'll sell your soul and sacrifice your children for a few dollars. Where are the men? The 15, education. Teachers pay 60% of Liberian teachers are volunteer. In fact, over 60,000 Liberian teachers are volunteer. Why do you think our children feel the way they feel? The other day, the children feel working by now, everybody passing. I don't know what the story, but one thing I know, the education system in Liberia have no integrity. Listen, I'm a proctor. I do testing. In fact, I just did this year's certification last week. When new in the pipeline for the school system in America. I have to be trained every year. I have to have at least a minimum 20 credit hours as an educator in the United States. I must stay abreast as the system change, as the books are updated, as the reality of life changes. I must stay abreast for me to be able to teach the children. Okay, teachers don't get paid. Okay, the people working at Morovia City Corporation make more money than your teachers. The chief of staff for Morovia City Mayor is $2,900 a month. The teachers are volunteer. Any nation that does not prioritize education, that nation is a failure. Hey, Darius, please share the video for me. Okay? That nation is a failure. It's not going anywhere. You know, Confucian is a Japanese philosopher. Confucian said, if you have a plan for 1 year, plan rice. If your plan is for what? 10 years, plan 3. But your plan is for 100 years, that's 5 generations. Invest in the children, educate the children. It will change the nation drastically. You see, Liberia, the people in a position of power understand the power of quality education. They will steal, they will loot, they will kill to send their children to the best school, if that means taking them out of the country. Then, okay, the commercialized education, they make it so expensive that every person cannot afford. But guess what? The children are now on Facebook cussing people. Even if they're there, they're making a point. But your children are on Facebook cussing. I see some of you in my inbox. When you come in my inbox and ask me to help you, especially when you're struggling, I'll go through your Facebook. I will go way, maybe a year. I take my time and do that. And I see the kind of people that you support. That's your value. I can work 12 hours a day, okay, and try to help you. I will not do it. I don't mind who you support. You can support people and talk about differentiation, what makes them better, their quality. You don't have to assassinate anybody's character. You don't have to insult, especially. You don't have to lie. Hey, Kelly, what's wrong? Okay, go get food. I'm going to turn my camera around. Okay? I just did. So, I don't have to. I got 6 minutes here. The 16 is what? Healthcare and social services. Healthcare is so fragile. Okay? Honor source. We don't put money into that. Even when America was giving us $9 million, we heard people stealing it, divine it. You get, I see everybody, Wilhelmina Jala was in America. She could not pass the medical test. She was working as a CNA. And many women had died under her lead, under her rule. Okay, she go back to Liberia. She's a doctor. Yeah, she got a degree in Liberia. Women, parents are taking her, family are taking her to court. But you still give her position. Then she have her own hospital. You know why in the United States, doctors cannot own pharmacies? Why doctors can't own hospitals? Doctors don't own hospitals in America. They work for hospitals. They have their own personal insurance. They go to hospital to treat the people there. But they don't own hospitals. They get prescription. They don't own drugstores. No, they don't. That's why. Conflict of interest. Conflict of interest. The third thing, okay, the sixth one, I talk about drug, education, okay? Talk about the collapse of education in Liberia. I talk about agriculture. I talk about healthcare, under school, underpaid teacher. We talk about that. overcrowded classroom, children sitting on the ground, okay? But their children are in international schools. Deficit in infrastructure. And those not stuff we're going to talk about. And most of all, the breakdown for the rule of law. Okay, we're not going to talk about the dual citizenship. Okay, we're not talking about the brain drain and migration. We talk about the migration where children are graduating, young people living in the country. We have a few young people in Rwanda that we support. Every semester, we pay their school fees. At least I've done something I can pat my neck on myself. School coming open, my inbox is flooded with young people. Okay, I don't mind supporting boys, but I put my money behind girls. I also have nephews and nieces that I need to help. So I'm about to leave. I wanted to talk about, that's what I wanted to talk about it today. It's supposed to be what are the issues confronting Liberia? What are some of the issues confronting Liberia? Can you guys write it? Can some of you think what are some of the issues that are confronting Liberia? Don't make it about my conversation. What are some of the issues that are confronting Liberia? What are those issues? Okay. How do we fix it? Who do we think can fix it? Those are the things that we need to look for. Who do we think can fix it? Now, if election were today, who do you think will win? Are you serious? And we are informed people? And we are educated? Is that how far our minds can take us? Is it? Y'all tell me now. Is it how far our minds can take us as Liberians? If election were today, who do you think will win? We're talking about winning. Why can it be about who do we think can improve the education system? Who do we think can build a system that can create jobs for our children to not be deprived, to not be hopeless? Who do you think? You know, it took a man to start up, to break up the spoil system. The name of Garfield. That's what Liberia need. And you know who structured the country? The second birth of America? FDR. He was not standing up. He was a man sitting in a wheelchair. A man sitting in a wheelchair is some of the best possible brains in America. Best idea to change the nation. And that's what he did. Okay? I'm not on social media to insult people, to play strength. I'm not. I'm not here to be degrading. I'm not here for that. I'm here to deal with those who are in charge, who have failed our people and our nation. Okay? For instance, Bwaka. I see people say, oh, Bwaka do well. Do well does not count. What they do well, how has the unemployment changed? How has the security system changed? How have the travel that we fought about yesterday where we are, how has it changed? We were here cussing, we were here protesting against, how has that changed? What has changed? Okay. Bwaka have traveled in 2 years around the world than he has in Liberia. How many countries have Bwaka have gone to visit? How many? How many has he gone to? Those are the things for me that matters to me. But no, you are here praising because that your tribe, that your government, okay? So to having with the rest of the people, this is your government, this is your tribe, all right? And so wherever you want is where it goes. That's where you are. And if we build Liberia based on tribe, this is where we are. But I wanted to play this video about this guy before I go. I know, hopefully I can find that. Okay, let me come here. Let me see if I can find this. Oops, what the heck? Somebody took how you call it down. Lord have mercy. Okay, I'm gonna play this video with this man. Okay, folks, the men that were arrested for I'm gonna play this YouTube video with Alexander Cummings on his interview on Arise Africa. I want to play that where he spoke to briefly. Okay, I'm not rooting because he did, but I just want first and foremost to do that. I will come back to this, but I wanted something here that I wanted to play this man when his son was speaking. Whether we wake up now or we wake up later, that is what is that? Kwame Weeks. I saw that Kwame Weeks. I saw that. If I don't see it, then I will go ahead and I will play it later. If I don't see it at all. Where was the stuff that I just did that this woman had? Okay. I am reading a book that was given to me that I just ordered from Orita. I will have I'm trying to find the time I will call her today to host her, but I'm trying to make sure I'm done reading this before I do. Okay, let me see, what do I have? What is this? I'm trying to find where is this stuff that I had at this woman put here. Okay, I think I will own the air today. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can. No, I'm not gonna save this. I'm gonna see if I can play this. And the word knows us. The word sees us. Sees that we're in dire need. Oh, this is Nigeria. Sees that we're in a dire need to change our country. The whole and somebody you're telling me it's just been 2 years. Burkina Faso has changed in 2 years. In 2 years. It took Obama less than a year to put America to build it back. It took Joe Biden build it back better. The moment he took over, he had a plan. The plan was going on. What is our plan? What plan do we have for our nation? Okay, you do plans based on. Okay, you do plan based on. Give me 1 second. Based on what? What's your plan? What is your plan? You can't get up in the morning and say, let's go build a city mayor mansion, a superintendent mansion, a governmental palace in Lofa, in Nimba, okay? What they're building is not for the Liberian people, it's for them. The house that Joe built in Grandjide, that's his house. This man was in 1 bedroom. When he killed Tarbert, he took over the coffers of the nation. I see them running around and say they want a Doe property. How did that become Doe property? Doe were in charge of the Liberian people money, their bank account. Just as Waka is and doing that, just as we were doing that. When people thought you'll get mad, you're mad because it's yours to support. So my issue has always been, you are not mad because the people wrong the nation and the children of Liberia. You are mad because they're not you who's stealing, or they're not your family who is stealing. You are not the one that have power to unalive people and get away with it. You are not the one who have the power to sell drugs and get rich, and you have contact and will get away with it. That's all. Until we come to the realization as Liberian that we are entwined, that we are all connected, this is all of our sentence, okay? That is all of our sentence. So until we learn to make education a priority and make quality education, how do you intend, a man wrote and say, How do we anticipate that Africa will change if the very thing that we want change will protect the people who we hire to change equally? How do a lawmaker change a system? How does he put money in a budget for quality education, quality teachers training? How does he do that? He can't, because his children are not required to go to school. My lawmaker children go to my school in my district. Okay? There are few private schools in the area that I live. Okay. When my kids were in private school, I looked around and saw that the public school had more amenities, a bigger theater, orchestra, band, jazz, dance, tap that were offered by the government. I didn't have to pay for, based on my taxes. Lunch in the lunchroom, a huge cafeteria for the children to language that they could learn as a choice. Football, all talents where they harness talent. Football, basketball, table tennis, robotics. My baby, that just went to college, she was called Einstein kid because she was in the Einstein program. Okay. How do you then think Liberia is going to change when you're only thinking about yourself? How you and your family can benefit, and your friends. Now I'm going to play this video. Okay. Let me play this. I just put it there, and I'm going to end with that. Okay. I'm going to end with that. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, I'm gonna play this. Okay, I'm gonna play from here. Y'all please bear with me. All right, I'm gonna play this, and I'm gonna end with this. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play this, and I'm gonna end with this. This is not to sell Mr. Cummings. I just want you to look at the mindset, why we are where we are, and you can take we can take that from there. Okay, but I'm a Liberian first, and I'm looking for the best possible solution, and that's what I'm thinking about. Okay, so here we go. Let's play this.
Where we is an international figure known all over Europe, celebrated. As some would say, you are a political novice, so to speak, understanding that in the last election in 2017, you didn't get as much vote as some would have said would be impressive from your political bloc and also from your tribe.
So we entered politics literally 18 months prior to elections, only 18 months. Before then, I had not been in politics. We came in the fifth out of about 20 plus candidates. We came in third in
so that means they're right. It's still politically new.
Yeah, but the point is, we made tremendous in 18 months in the speaker's political county. Liberia is organized by counties, 15 counties. We came in third, ahead of many other politicians who have been there forever. In 6 of the 15 counties, we came in second after only 18 months in politics. It's now 5, it will be 6 years later. We have made tremendous strides. And again, I go to the polling we've done across the country, and it says we made significant strides. And a lot of the old politicians have stepped aside, are no longer competing. We're going to build a coalition around me. We're offering new ideas. Liberia needs to do things differently. Our country is 175 years old, and yet one of the least developed countries in Africa. I keep saying you cannot keep doing the same thing and expect different results. And that message is resonating with Liberians. So I'm not confident because I say so. The facts support it, and the progress we've made supports that as well.
Well, I know that you've been endorsed by some women groups, and while reacting to their endorsement, you spoke of a lot of challenges that you would like to fix, like the need for improved schools, better healthcare delivery service, lifting Liberians out of extreme poverty, and so many other issues. But I'd like you to share details, of how you're going to address these challenges.
Sure. So the first thing we have to do to address the challenges is we have to find the resources, the money to do that. Otherwise, it's just talk, as I always say. And so we are going to do the following things to try to find the money. First, we're going to stop the stealing, the corruption, right? And redeploy those resources into these areas we talked about. Second thing we're going to do is we're going to focus on the private sector. So I grew up in the private sector, if you will. I ran Coca-Cola Nigeria, so I'm very familiar with this country. I ran Coke Africa. I had a global responsibility for the company in many functions around the world. So I understand the private sector. I understand how to attract foreign direct investments. I understand what to do to encourage businesses. And through that process, we'll generate the revenue necessary to invest in education, in healthcare. The other thing we'll do different from what other politicians do is we're going to make choices. We're going to prioritize. We're not going to try to fix everything on day one. Because when you do that, you do a little bit of everything and you do nothing well. And so we're going to focus in education, for example, we're going to focus on teachers training and vocational training. In healthcare, we're going to focus on primary healthcare. Because what kills most Liberians are very basic things: malaria, typhoid, hypertension. So these are the things we'll do differently, but we'll find the resources, we'll make choices, we'll prioritize, and we'll begin to fix Liberian challenges and problems. We're going to privatize many of our state-run institutions because, again, governments are meant to create the right environment, not to actually run institutions. So private sector investments is.
So let me stop for a second here, okay, guys? Let me talk to you a little bit. I just want you to understand mindset, leadership mindset, how the transition, the transformation takes place, okay? You understand, you build before, you will know how to build, okay? If you build something before, you will know, first you need to have a plan. You can't just get up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm going to go cut the grass. How are you going to cut the grass? Where are you going to cut the grass with? You got to think about that. Okay, I'm just giving you, and I will bring in other, in the coming days, bring in other leaders from around the world, from the Mao Zedong to Deng Xiaoping, who changed China, is known as the father of modern China. How he did that from isolationism, okay, and from Chinese people eating grass, literally, and grasshopper to creating a multi-trillion-dollar industry and becoming a superpower. We can talk about that. America comes from being a economy, a trading economy, okay, in other people's country, and you want to believe in marketalism to build a nation that is a superpower. In World War I, America was not a superpower. They weren't. They weren't. In fact, by 1930s, America was going through a Great Depression. People were standing in soup line. How did they do it? How did they do it? That's why y'all need to ask. Instead of saying, a young man wrote yesterday. Angelo, thank you. Okay. A young man wrote on Facebook, and this young man I've also helped, okay? This other young guy, when the CDC government were in power and that was coming during the election, called him for his mobile money number and sent him something. I don't want a nation where politicians send me something because election coming. I don't want a nation where I have to go dance because politicians came and sprinkle money. I want a nation where I see virtue, I see values, I see somebody who aligns with my belief or philosophy, where I see plan, where I can talk to a person and I say, you said you're going to change Liberia. How have you done it? Where have you done it in your own? Look, let's look at this young man named Traoré. Ibrahim Traoré had done that somewhere before. He was not in government as a government official, but he has what you call service. He served, he protected people in the Darfur. He extended by his vision and his discipline, his hard work will notice. If you hear his life, a short life, you will tell that he was leader and he was service oriented. He was people centered. Okay, I'm gonna just play 2 more minutes of this and I will get off. All right, let's go ahead and do this. Again, I have no copyright to this video. This is the RAS Africa. I will put a link under here. You can watch it. That's on you. All right. All of our leaders have been interviewed.
It's another way we'll fix some of these challenges our country faces today.
All right. Well, it seems very well thought out on your part. But let's go to a little bit of the controversial. You were recently exonerated by the courts of charges of forgery and criminal conspiracy. Of course, you maintained your innocence all throughout. And are you of the opinion that somehow the government might be using the court system in a way to suppress those who could be big candidates to go up against the presidency? Or is this just something that people are saying?
No, the government will use every means they can to stay in power, including using the court system. The accusations against me were bogus, they were false, and I was exonerated. And by the way, the Solicitor General of Liberia, the chief prosecutor, was the one prosecuting me. This was a misdemeanor, not even a felony, right? But he was prosecuting me, and he's one of the ones that was sanctioned by the U.S. government.
So, folks,
and so it says and speaks to the bogus nature of the accusations against me, because one of the reasons why he was sanctioned was because he suppressed, not just in my case, suppressed evidence that exonerated me. So the government has.
So here we are. Serena Stephens, where the other day you were parading because he left CDC and said we are with this, we are with that. He's supposed to be an international lawyer, a well-learned lawyer. Guess what? He did not go to the court system. He's supposed to be advisor to, we are also on the cabinet, to say to him and say, Mr. President, listen, UP people are setting this man up. This is not something our government needs to be involved in. We are here to do the Liberian people work. Let's focus. You remember him, Acosta, sitting in his car during the interview and said, we are working with the CDC to prosecute Mr. Cummings. But you know what? I also blame the hinderer of Mr. Cummings that were on the ground, because this was a victory that would have led to victory for the Liberian people. He needed to have gone, because the whole world. I remember when Queen Johnson then were pulling Mr. Cummings close and calling him. You know, West Side is Liberia. We prosecute the best among us. This dude walked in a room. Oh my God. I had an opportunity to go to an honoring this year. Was it this year? Yeah, sometime this year with Mr. Cummings. And a university were honoring him for his work, his contribution. Although he had done exacting to Liberia, every university in Liberia, this man have helped. Just like every organization in Liberia, that's a Liberian organization, he has supported. In my community, he's the highest donor thus far. And you are also, okay? No. You walk in the room and you call his name and people don't ask you for nothing. I'm talking about among 1,000 years, I don't know, they got about million years, business owner, corporate executive. And they just say, oh, Alex, come on in. Oh, Alex, come on in. Here, cuz. Yes, the hinderer. But most of the hinderer, if you ask me, they have their own agenda. They have their own agenda. When we were pushing, let Mr. Cummings take a county tour, okay? But guess what? In the second round, the very UP that lied on him, they went out from country to country to say that George Weah who lied on me, Mr. Cummings, that George Weah who talked about Mr. Cummings being gay, which was a lie. It was them. It was them. And that's how they stay running the country as propaganda. I will finish. It's going to be 2 minutes and I'm out. Okay. I should not come this way. Okay. Let's play this really quickly. Paul, I will call you back. Let me finish this. Yeah.
Try to use that means. We believe they will try to use that means, but we're prepared to call them out when they do, because we know Liberians will not accept or tolerate the use of the judiciary to keep politicians from their constitutional right to compete against the president.
All right, you've been very critical of George Oponwe and his administration and his time. You've actually called to question his leadership style. You've accused him of mismanaging state resources. If you become president, what would you do differently? Or what approach should the state be taking to ensure Liberia is a better nation than it is right now?
Right. Great.
Now, let me stop here. Liberian journalists, this is what journalism is. You probe, you ask questions. These are professional people, okay? You don't need a degree, okay, to be a professional journalist, but you need to learn the ethics. You need to learn the etiquette in journalism. What are you trying to get? Gather information, profile information, make sure the information is correctly disseminated. You are not there to do pay for play or to attack the people who are interviewed, but to get the right answer for these people, especially during election, okay? I see you're yelling back at people. You can probe. Liberian people, this is what you need to do. The people who say they want to lead you, how are they going to lead? When are they going to lead? How, where, when, and how are they going to do it? It's your responsibility. It is your right to know, okay? Especially if the generation to come, lives are involved. Here we go. Listen to these guys. Listen to the question, okay? You can learn, journalist of Liberia.
Question, and by the way, I don't criticize President Weah just because I want to replace him. I do want to replace him. The facts speaks to the criticism. By any objective measure, right? Unemployment, inflation, all your human development indexes are all going backwards. Fact, right? But what will we do different? First of all, we'll restore integrity to the leadership of Liberia. You know, I've had the opportunity to literally manage billions of dollars in my corporate life. Because of
So let's talk about management. Billions of dollars. 287 billion. Liberia don't even have $1 billion. 287 billion. And product lines that is all over the place. Okay? So let's listen up. Where? That's the where. Go ahead.
Always say the best predictor of future behavior, future performance is past behavior, past performance. And so if you look at my past behavior, past performance, you will see that I've delivered results. I've set goals and achieved them. I've built strong teams. I've managed with integrity. I don't make commitments I can't keep. So we'll do all of these things differently. We'll build the right team of people. We will invest in the right things. We will ensure integrity in governance. We will change the dynamics of how our country has been run historically. And so for all this, I'm the only person running who has had the experience I've had in the private sector. Because I strongly believe that the private sector will be one of the key drivers of change in Liberia. We've been too dependent on this thing called government, and government has a key role to play. But we will make sure we embrace the private sector, create the right environment for the private sector to thrive, create jobs, generate new taxes. We need to invest in tourism in my country. We have 350 kilometers of beaches, so ecotourism can thrive in Liberia. And so we'll do many, many things different, but we'll make choices in terms of how we go about doing that.
Now, earlier you talked about stopping the stealing once you get into government, but that sounds very familiar. I mean, almost every African politician wants to fight corruption. And at the end of the day, it's same old, same old. So I'd really like to know how you plan to stop the stealing. How do you plan to fight corruption? How do you plan to tackle security, the security challenges in Liberia, such as armed robbery?
Here, because this is not my video. This is a Rise Africa video. I have played a video long enough. Disclaimer again, it's Rise Africa. You can go to the page and watch it. I will put a link down here. It's on YouTube. Go ahead. Waka On is also there. This interview I will put, and next week I will play Waka interview. In fact, we'll do a side by side, and I will play that for all of us to see. Okay. This man told us how he was going to do it. Where has he done it? Okay. The other one just accused. All right. Now, we must do things differently. You know, while Africans are dying in the Mediterranean, trying to cross, because we vote the wrong people for a few dollars. These people, this interview is tough. They even talk about vote buying. They talk about transporting people to buy a vote. They talk about their censors. Okay, so the world is so connected. We're not living in the dark anymore. We can ask this question. It is our responsibility. If you're on social media, if somebody do a survey, don't put in there. Ask them, what are we voting on? Don't just tell me if the election was today who you will vote for. Okay? So if I'm popular, you will just vote me because I'm popular. Say who you will vote for based on these issues. What are the issues confronting Liberia? Okay? But let's watch something again. And then I will call this I keep saying I'll call this a day. There's a lot of stuff going on. Africans, young people were crossing. Your vote, sell your vote, and they go cross in the Mediterranean. Plenty of them died this morning, mostly from Senegal, and I think they say Gambia. Okay, there we go. So watch this. I will end with this. Again, I don't have, and it's sad. This is what is happening to our young people.
Bamo bad mo madmen ko ilo na jo video na tara mo kasila ko baske ko nene be utro ko ala ko uni afeka to ko mi dafe a bekalo ka fa do ka ro mi no bato en fini buto kito jikala amani donc ay de mo bad mo video na tara ko sa mo bad mo makara ka po ro mi no ala u yo no.
Okay, it's not in a dialect that you may understand, but those are African children. Okay, those are African children, young people escaping poverty of Africa. And that poverty is caused by African leaders. It's caused by the people that you all vote for. It's caused by those of you who go around town telling them vote for the person they want, and knowing that that person will never deliver, knowing that that person will enslave our people, that out of the frustration, the hopelessness, the young people will try to leave the continent. Okay? Now, I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to tell you, Afra, thank you so much. I will be setting up a chat room just for me to see those who are saying we're going to support and reach out to you. We're going to educate each other together. We will build our own group, and we will reach out to Liberians. We will go to villages. We will listen. We'll separate y'all, the so-called good people and the so-called bad corrupt people. The corrupt people are band together. They are united in keeping you poor. They're united in keeping your children poor. They're united in breaking the nation. They're united in lying to the people. They're united in keeping you comfortable for a day while you sell your soul and the future of your children. That's what they are. The good people must be united in changing Liberia without asking for anything. Look, I had an opportunity to travel Liberia, at least 8 counties. You go talk to people, they tell you, the people who you contact in the town, they say, oh, the people will not come if you don't bring anything for them, okay? People will start asking you, okay, what you brought for me? Why you do this for me? The one you give them money. I had somebody say, if somebody didn't give them back or rice for their community, they're not voting for that person. They didn't care if the person was going to change their life or were already changing their lives. This is what it is. I want a Liberia where my people have opportunity, the young people can work, have their own money. And the funny thing is, some of you got jobs, some of you are working, but you will still turn around and try to beg people, knowing that there are other more people that are hungry instead of helping each other. That is our problem. We're selfish. We don't project ourselves for the future. We don't watch out for ourselves, but that's not the Liberia I know. I come from up interior. Family were connected. My grandfather never converted to Christianity. He never did. But he loved his brothers and his sisters. Most of them converted. They changed their names. He just did not. His rationale was, the God that comes to you and tell you you can't eat with your brother because you don't pray the same way you pray, or you don't wear the same clothes, or that changes your name. I don't want to know that God. But I know there's a God in heaven. Okay, that's what it is. So, folks, I've been here long enough. I was just here for an hour. I have stayed longer. For all of you who tune in, yes, a lot of them died. The stuff is here. In fact, DM Africa posted it this morning. Plenty death took place. It is sad. They're from Gambia and Senegal. I believe that's what it says, from Gambia and Senegal. And it hurts my heart as a mother, okay, as a Black person, as an educator, okay. It really hurt my heart. You see right here, this is how I'm going to end this show right here, right now. All right, here it is. There's no video. It's just a picture, and I have no copyright to this picture. Let's see right here. It's there at least 69 migrant men from Gambia and Senegal have died, and dozens are missing after their overcrowded boat capsized off the Mediterranean coast. The vessel carrying around 160 people capsized near whatever the name is after a passenger coastal light. What is that? Do I see? Rushed one side and then spotted a coastal light. Okay, so they saw people that were surveying or that were watching the land, and whatever happened to them happened to them. So this is Africa. This is Africa per se. This is when you elect people. This is what you elect them to do, to fix your country. We can't keep running. And if somebody will say, "Oh, you're talking because you're in America." If I knew what I know then, I would not have been here. I stood to fight though, but I was a kid when I left. I was just a young woman that the war had ravished my country and got an opportunity. All my children were born here. So my life is here. Everything that I care about, my husband, my life, my children, my grandchildren, they're here. But I still support Liberia. I'm in and out of Liberia. I got property in Liberia. I got building in Liberia. I have a land in Liberia that my neighbor street is buried in. All of my children, neighbor street, your daughter were born here during the war. At the height of the war, I stayed making my duty. Went into Liberia and buried the neighbor stream there. That's how much I love that country. My love is not for an individual. My love is for an idea that can change Liberia, that my children can one day come home. That's where my love is. It's not about who has the deepest pocket. It's not about, for me, it's about the future. If I believe you can change the country, it's for the greater good. I'm not here to assassinate anyone. I'm not here. I will talk about Bwaka because he don't have the national key to our bank or have the key to our food kitchen. I'm going to talk about him, but I'm not going to be about other people. I'm really not. And let me say to all of you, there's no need to attack anybody. People have the right to change agency. It is the constitutional right. Let them be. People have reason why they make decisions. You can ask what the reason. Even if you don't agree with the reason, it is the personal right. That's how I see it. So that's it, folks. Let me say to all of you, it has been weird. Thank you for tuning in. Join me next Saturday. We're going to be doing an hour, not this long. An hour is good for me because my time does not give me that kind of reason to be on here. And I'm going to get with Peter. We're still on tomorrow. Sorry, guys, I pressed the wrong button. I will get with Peter and say we start tomorrow. We get tomorrow is Sunday and Monday is holiday to see how we are. Okay, and I will have some other information for you. I will play Bwaka video and I will do a side-by-side with Bwaka and Alexander Cummings. I know Bwaka is not the president, but I'm just going to give you the contrast why it's important to ask the question. Our journalists also have obligation to do so. Yes, Cousin Dada, they decided to keep it quiet, that the people were handling Mr. Cummings. And you know, it is what it is. We are where we are. And we end up where we end up because of the decision we made, especially. I always say the king is only as good as the confines who are keeping who are around the king. Okay, the decision they make will impact the nation, the king, and the king decision. And that's why it's really, really important that when you are in those decision process, you have people who understand the cultural effect, okay, the historical effect, and all of the perimeters that it does. Okay, that will start working at people when you're dealing with cynical people. Okay, it's just like we say in the school system, you cannot teach a child, especially a difficult child, or a child that has disability, until you can reach them. You must build a relationship. That's why in our school system, when school starts, the first week and a half, 2 weeks, the school will tell you it's set aside that our teacher, because the kids just meeting you, to build relationship, to get to know them, let them get to know you. Set the expectation. Make sure the kids buy in, make sure they're part of the expectation. Make sure, like I would start with the kids, okay, with the rules, or why do we go to school? And see what they're thinking. Why do we go to school? Some of them say the state say we should. Some say for us to learn. Something for us to get a good job. Something to get an education and be informed. Depending on what it comes. So the recurring thing, we use it as our vision for our class. Or we teach while we go to school as an educator. Guys, family, thank you for tuning in. I know it's been a while. Saturday, this is where we are. Tuesday, this is where we are. Thursday, this is where we are. In the morning, I'm on my own page if I'm having a conversation at all. Okay. So everyone, let's have a good weekend. Enjoy your day. And I will go on here with this banner and I will say to you, God bless all of you. Have a good morning, a good evening, or good morning, wherever.